and today we are going to talk about grid application on version 9 and pivot tables. I'm going to show you everything we implemented on version 9 grid application and detail all the functions for you to understand how it works, how them work. So I have this version local on my PC. I will log here in English, and to show you the options I'm going to use a new project we have inside version 9, which is this business intelligence project. This is a project where we have added some pivot tables and dashboards so you could see the new features with examples. I recommend you to download this project, and I'm going to show you how to download it inside your Scriptcase 9 or inside the live demo. Okay, so we are going to create a new project. And here you have the business intelligence option. You will click here. Instead of creating a new project, you will use a template. So it means Scriptcase will deliver you some tables and some applications. So you just need to import them to your database and run the project. So how it works, you create here the new project. Then the next step will go straight to database, because languages and themes will be already set. This is a template, so you have the option here to create a connection to your own database, or you can use Scriptcase's default connection. We use SQLite for Scriptcase, so if you use this option, the Scriptcase will store the project's tables inside its own directory. So where is it? If you go here to the local disk, this is where Scriptcase is installing Scriptcase 9 program files. I have here a netmake folder, Scriptcase 9. So Scriptcase, devo, conf, Scriptcase again. So this is where Scriptcase stores the local tables. So if you see here, I have this one from projects I have imported before. So if you use this option, here is where Scriptcase will store the DB file. Okay, so you have this option if you don't want to bring this to your database, or if you prefer, you can create a new connection and then import to this project tables to your database. So let's do this. I will choose here MySQL, then I will add. I have a MySQL database installed here inside this machine. So let's add here root list. I can use one of the databases I already have, or I can create a new database. If I use this option, create database, Scriptcase will create a new database inside my SQL system. So let me create here sample PIEN. Okay, so I'll just create this. Select here samples PIEN, and then import these tables to this database. Sometimes, since I have my database local, I have no problem to create here the database. But if you have your database online, usually you'll be not able to create from here, because it will deny the access. You need to be sure that you have remote access to this database. You have all the permissions. Okay, so but since I have everything local here, I didn't have this problem. Okay, so it is creating the new project, importing the database. Okay, let's generate the source code. So Scriptcase is importing the tables and also the projects, the applications. We are going to have about 41 applications within this project, and we are generating the source code now. Let's just wait a minute or so. Okay, almost done. This is going to depend on your server, how fast is it, and okay, you can run or open the project. Let's run. So it opens the project itself. It's a very simple project, just with many applications with different examples. So it's interesting for you to download and check these applications out. So if you go here to the menu, you have many charts and different types comparing different values. You have also pivot tables using the new options from our grid application. Okay, so I recommend you to download this project in the way I just did and check here the examples. This is the generated application. If you go back to Scriptcase, you will see the folders with all the applications, so you can copy, you can check them or use them to yourself, do whatever you want. It's available for you. And let's create our examples today using here this database. Okay, so let's because we have imported the database, so if we go here to the creation, we'll be able to see the connection. And we are going to use the tables. There are only two tables. There's salary survey and sales, but these tables are not for the examples I'm planning to show you guys today. Okay, so first let's choose a key. Let's choose here the tables. You can see that we have a difference here inside this interface, which is the option for you to select multiple tables and select multiple fields. Okay, it was not available on version 8. We are using a new component here to create the grid application, so you are able to select the fields and select the tables more than one at a time. You can also search. If you have many tables, you can search also the fields to check or uncheck them. And if you choose more than one table, we are going to build here the join. For this case, these two tables are not able to be linked because we don't have a relationship between them. So it's giving me this warning saying that it's not possible to find, to retrieve the foreign keys. So I can check here the relationship. There is an error for this relationship, so I'm not able to use these two fields. But if I'm using, for example, during the presentation I did orders and orders details, or customer and orders, any type of relationship you will be able to use here. Okay, it was possible to do before Scriptcase 9, but you had to access this SQL builder. It is still here. You can still use the SQL builder. This is very useful for you to build SQLs. You can also run here to test conditions you have. I used to test here my conditions, so I can apply here before I create an application, because you can have a very complex select statement, so you can test here to see if it's returning values from the database. So the SQL builder, it's still here. You can use it. You can access from here, or you can also access from database SQL builder. Okay, so but now you can apply here the joins and select the fields more dynamically from using this interface. So let's just use the BI sales. I'm going to use these fields to show the examples for the grid application. So BI sales, okay. Look, language, okay. Let's create. So the grid application, as you guys know, it's like the biggest application Scriptcase has. Using the grid application, you can create different types of streams of applications, because you have the grid itself, you have the summary, the chart, the search, and you can change here the initial model, so you can have the grid as search, the grid as chart, the grid as summary, as print, and you are going to play here with the options and define the grid application to anything you need to do. We have some webinars, and during these webinars we used to show different ways for you to use the grid application. Okay, today to show you the options from version 9, I'm going to focus on summary application. So we are not going to need the search and neither the detail. I'm going to use only grid, summary, and chart, okay? Because all the options we have added to the grid application are mainly inside group by and summary. So starting here, I'm going to just uncheck these two, save, and then we can start to have, in order to have a summary or a chart, I always need to create a group by. You can create the group by using the SQL. Before you create the grid application, you have the SQL function for this option, but when you are using the Scriptcase, you don't need to use SQL because you can use here this option, this area for group by. The Scriptcase provides you different options, different configuration options for you to have your group by. So you create the grid normally, and then you come here to group by and define your groups. You're going to group the data. So let's go here to group by. I will close grid options. And here we have the dynamic group by and the static group by, as we did in the version 8. The difference is that now you have a different way to build this group by. The difference here is that the static you create, the developer will create here using this interface, and it will be fixed. I mean, when you run the application, you will have already all the group bys inside the application, so the final user can just choose which one they want to see. And the dynamic group by, you will select the fields, and inside the application the final users will be able to create their own group bys. Okay, so depending on the system you are developing, you will decide which one is the best one for your customer. For the examples today, I'm going to use the static because I want to have the summary as initial application. Okay, if you create the dynamic group by, you can never have the summary as initial application because it's like you don't have a group by. You need to run the application and build the group by inside the application. And if you have a static group by, it's going to be the application is going to be generated already with the group. So this is an important information. So let's create here our first group. I will put here group 1. And here we are going to analyze, for example, category of products. And we are going to pick some dates. So you could see during the presentation that now you are able to pick more than one date field. It was not possible within the version 8. And you can define here different periods of time. In the version 8, we just had day, month, and year, and here you have now more options, so you can combine different options. We are going to use year and semester, and month. And here you can also set the axis, so let's apply here the X. And I'm going to bring one field, sales, to the summary totals. So this way you are having now to create the group by are completely new, because before you had only the option to create the group by, a simple group by, and then you had to go to grid totals. It was not here, it was like a main option to apply the totals, but it was not divided as now, because now you can have everything in its place. You have the grid totals, you have the summary totals, so you can define individually each of the options, and you can play only with the summary, or only with the grid, or only with the group by fields. Okay, I'll show here. Once you save, you will see that we are going to have here the group 1 and its fields, and inside the summary we are going to have fields from group 1. So we have all independent, and you can set according to the area, to the model. Okay, so here we have the total options, also with new total options, variance, standard deviation, count, and distinct count are new. And let's run this. We still have the grid as initial model, so we are going to have here the grid application with this group, because as I told you before, we are starting already with the group, because we are using static group by. If you are using dynamic, it's going to start the grid normally with the button for you to build the group by dynamically. So you can go here to the button summary and see the summary we are building. So instead of going to the grid and then to the summary, we can go to initial models and change, because now we have a group by, so we are able to use the summary as initial model. So once I run the application, the initial model will be already the summary or pivot table, as you prefer. Okay, so we have here categories, and we have year and month. So this is what we are analyzing here. You can, inside the settings options, change the position. For example, you can change to instead of having X, you can have Y here, and it's going to be like this. Or if you have more fields, you can set here. You have also the option to set the sorting by label or by value. This is very useful for date field, because sometimes if you have by label, it goes, for example, you have January 1st, you have, let me see if I have here, no, because it's by month. But when you have the entire date, if you sort by by label, it's going to bring all the first, and then all the second, all the third. So this is not good sometimes. So it's better if you do by value the dates, because then it goes according to the date inside the database table. So it goes by the logical sequence of the date. Okay, it was already these options I'm showing here. They are already available within the version 8, but just to tell you this difference. Okay, so back here to Scriptcase, you can see this hover. You can customize this hover. You can customize here this number sequence, also this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can customize this total label you have in here. How you do that? If you go to, so since we are inside the summary, most of the options are going to be inside summary, because here on the grid application we divide, and then you have the options inside the models. So we have here a search model, we have summary model. Inside the summary we have also the charts, the grid charts. We have some options in here. So we want to change that options I was showing you, the hover and the sequence. So if you go here to summary settings, you can find here these 3 new options. Display subtotal label. You can choose between total or value. Total is the way we are seeing here. It shows the name total. If you change to value, it's going to display the value according to the data you have here. For example, we have the year of 2013. So instead of total, we are going to have here the value. In this case, the year 2013, 2014, and so on. So you can customize here this option. You can also display the line number. This is here, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and also the hover on the summary lines. This hover here, you can choose to display or not. So by default it comes checked, enabled. Okay, but you can disable if you want. So this is also new here inside the summary. Let's create another group by. We have the group 1. I'm going to create a new one, and this new one will be customer and sales. Okay, so if we generate again, let me name it group 2 and label group 2. Okay, so we have now 2 groups. What happens when we have 2 groups? Scriptcase displays a button, group by. You can change this label if you want, and by clicking here you will choose if you want to display the group 1 or the group 2. You choose apply. So I see here the group 2 customers. Okay, and it's going to be here. If you want to sort, you can go to static group by settings, and then here you have the sorting options. We have group 1 and group 2. You can choose here how you're going to sort the groups. The first one will be the default one, so when you run the application, it's going to display the group 1. What if I don't want to display any group? You can create an empty group by with no fields, and it's going to be here as the default one with no group, so you can choose the groups dynamically. But usually you have a default group by, or you can use also the dynamic if you want the user to choose dynamically within the application. Okay, so going here again to the summary options, let me save so we can have it is here already, so we can have the group 2. As I told you before, you can customize fields independently now. You can customize here, for example, we have the same field, but you can customize it for the group 1 and for the group 2. It was not possible before because you had only one option, one field, so you could not, if you have two groups, you could not customize individually. Now you can. It's the same field, but you are using in different groups, so you can give them different names, you can give them different options. In here, let's customize one. I will customize here the month, because we see, let me go back to group 1. We see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to see the names, so you can use here the regional settings disabled, and you can define here the mask. You have different options for the mask according to the way you want to display. I want to display just the month name, the 3 first letters. So if we just change to an M, we are going to see here the months like this. So you can customize, as I told you, independently according to the area, if you are changing the group by, the summary, or the grid totals, because we are not using here grid totals, but we could use, I could add, for example, a field here to grid totals, and then if I save, it's going to be here inside the grid totals. So I have group 1, group 2 has no grid totals, but group 1, yes, I have here the cost summary, sum. Okay, just one thing about this summarization options. If I change, for example, this weighted mean, in the version 8 we were using just one interface, so when we were using weighted mean, you had another field to fill with the weight. Okay, but now we have changed the interface, so when you're using the weighted mean, you need to go here to the field. For example, I'm using weighted mean inside the grid totals, so let me save. So it is now inside group 1 cost weight, and here I'm going to see this option, weighted average weight. So here I need to choose the weight for me to calculate the weighted mean. Okay, because when you are using this option, you need to have a field for the weight. So just for this option, you have this enabled inside the settings. So if you are using here, it's going to be here. If you are using inside the group by, it's going to be here. If you are using inside the summary, it's going to be inside summary fields. Okay, let's close here the grid application. Continuing with the summary. Inside the summary, we have also this option of limit. How we can apply it? This is when you need to limit the summary. You could do this using the SQL, but it was a bit complicated to apply this to the summary, but now it's very easy. So for example, let's choose the group 2, where we have the customers and the sales. And then you can apply, for example, a limit using the field sales. I want to know the max on the top. This option here, it's top to bottom or bottom to top. You can know the 5 best customers or the 5 worst customers, or the 10 best or the 20 as many as you need. So let's apply here 5 top customers, and it is inside the group 2. Okay, so the default group is the group 1. Okay, but if we change to the group 2, we are going to see only the 5 best customers. So this is the idea for the limit. You can see here the customer details, because it's linking to the grid. It's linked to the grid application. So this is the idea for you to apply here the limit. So you can apply also individually according to the group. As you could see, we were not applying to the group 1, just to the group 2. Okay, so this is all new. This is also new here inside the summary. And you have the same option inside the grid. If you go to the SQL, you will see that we have applied the limit here. So the difference it's that inside the summary you have already the summarization options, and here you don't. So if you need to do an average or sum or maximum, minimum, you have to do the statement here, the function you need to apply here inside the SQL, and then you just define the 5 or 10. We did an example like this inside one webinar, but then we were using only SQL. It was a bit, if you don't know how to manage, how to play with the SQL statement, sometimes it's hard for you. So now we have this option automatic here. Yes, this is Dusan is asking if we can sort the 5 best customers by sale. Yes, this is just what we did here, and you can choose another field according to the group by you have. Okay, in the total selection, can the developer put tire on table? Yes, because then it's going to depend on how you are creating the grid application. If you need to change the select, because we are using this select statement to this grid application, but you can use a different one or connect to your own tables or use joins, as I was showing in the beginning. So back here to the summary, another option we have new is that you can apply a search to the summary. We have inside the grid application, we have different types of search. We have the search from the grid application, the refined search. So this search we have for the summary is similar to the refined search, because it's going to combine, if you have, for example, dates and then categories, it's going to select the categories from the day to select. It's kind of a refined search, so it's similar to the refined search, but it's organized in a different way. So it's dynamical, because you will choose the options for the final use to apply inside the final application, and it's also refined. Okay, so you have this search here, you have the refined search, and you have all the search options here, which is the advanced search. The advanced search is like the search application attached to the grid application. We have the dynamic, which is similar to the dynamic group by. You just select the fields, and the the final users will choose the fields to make the search dynamically. It's just available for the grid. And you have the quick search, which is the simple one where you can do any type of search, and it's going to bring the general results. So this search is just available, the advanced, the dynamic, and the quick search. It's more available for the grid, but it works also for only the advanced search works for the summary. I can show you here how to combine. But now we have one exclusive search for the summary, and how it works. You go here to fields, and you will select according to your need. I'll show you here the examples using different data types, because the options are going to depend on the data type. For sales, for example, date, this is a date field. You will find 4 options. You have the date range. I'm going to apply this one, where you're going to add the date range inside the application and search for it. Let's apply another one for us to see the actual period. So you can have as a simple select or multiple values. And when you are using the periods actual, relative, or seasonal, you will have the option to choose the values here, because you will have different options of periods. So for the actual period, you have year, year and quarter, year and month, year and week, or full date. Let's apply the year. Another one for us to have the relative period. You can also have simple select or multiple values. So choose values. You can choose to use current year, last month, current quarter, and so on. Let's apply the current year. And the last one is the seasonal period. You can apply here and choose the values. It can be quarter, month, so we'll choose here which month, or week, or weekday, or day. Let's use quarter, so we can apply here quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. And let's run. So we are using the 4 types, so you can see the difference inside the application. So this is where Scriptcase is going to position the search. So we are here inside the summary. And this is the first option with the date range. So you can apply here the dates, and you will filter according to this period of date. This second option, we have applied the year, the actual period, so you can apply here, and you can also combine, as I said. So we are using here 2013, so we have only 2013, and we can choose only quarter 3, for example. So this is all in runtime. You can choose here the year, change the year, and it's going to change the options dynamically. You can combine, so that's why it's kind of refined search, as I told before. Okay, so this is just to show you the 4 types of date period. Let's go back here. I will show you now the options for the field currency or integer. Let me check here, sales. This is a currency field. So for currency field, we have the option for you to apply a slider if you are using some of the summarization functions, sum, maximum, minimum, average. So it's going to be a slider option for you to choose the range of values. If you are using an actual value, you can also use a select box or multi-select. But this is not, for this example we are doing now, it doesn't make sense because we have a range of values, so the best option is the slider. So let's apply a sum. Another option for us to see maybe category, so we can see the select box. When you are using select box or multi-select box, you have the option to apply lookup setting, because sometimes it's for example countries and you don't have the country name, it's the country ID, so you need to look up so you can see the country name instead of the country ID. For this case here, we have already the category. It's not as an ID, it's a foreign key. We have the actual names, so you don't need the lookup, but you can use the lookup if needed. So you have here the option for the slider, and the option for you to choose the categories. Okay, and you can clean to see all again. And the slider, it's different from the one we have inside the refined search. Inside the refined search, you need to choose the range, and then it applies. You have a button apply, so you can apply. Inside this search from the summary, we did differently. You choose here the period and it applies directly. You don't need to click a button apply and apply the value. So you can also clean and go back to the previous view. Can you specify a fiscal season for a company that starts in Yeah, that's you could do because you have the option for months, so you can choose there the period. In this case, it would be like a range of dates, I guess. The first option of date. This one here, date range, or maybe the seasonal period. Again, Scriptcase, order a field with inside foreign key, but look up the text value, not by ID. Yeah, you could do this. Order by customer name. Yeah, you could. The order by from Scriptcase, the automatic one will always order by the ID, but you would have to do manually within the SQL, I guess. Okay, continue here with the news. We have this search applied to the summary. Okay, and there is an option here, group by, where you can define the search fields and the group by fields. So where you want to apply the search, because sometimes, for example, we are here using the first group by, but if we go to the second group by, we are going to have the same search, the same search options, but sometimes this is not what you want to do. You want to apply a different search to a different group by. So you have this option here. Scriptcase will list all the group bys you have. You have here the group by 1, the 2, and the dynamic group by. So for example, I want to say that for group by 1, which is the one where we have the categories and the sales and the years, I want to apply the category option, and I don't want to apply the sales and the sales date. But for the group 2, I want to apply the sales and the sales date, and I don't want to apply for the dynamic. So if you run in this way, for the group by 1, you're going to have the search only by category, and for the group by 2, you are going to have the sales and the sales date. Let's check. So we have a group by 1 just with the category. So we can search only by category. If we switch to the group by 2, we are going to have the limit, because we have applied the limit to this category, to this group by, and you have here the sales and the sales date. So in the way we have set here. Okay, so this option is for you to do this kind of configuration. So we are done here with the search options. Here, okay, limit, okay. Let me check if I'm missing something. I just wanted to show you this because we have different types of search, and sometimes this search we have here, it's the same for the advanced search. So if you want to customize the advanced search, you are customizing this search application. So it's like a search application attached to the grid, as I told you before. So just one example, I can have, it was a question I have in the morning in the Portuguese presentation. I can have here, for example, the search as initial model, and after the initial model, I'm going to choose the model I want to display. So for example, I want to display the filter, the summary after the search. So what is going to happen? I'm going to have the search. Okay, so this is the search application. I can customize here the labels, the fields, etc. So for example, let's choose for category, and it's going to bring, so this is a different kind of search. Okay, I can also set here to this search display the values below. So if I use the iframe option, yes. Show the results, no, because this is going to define if the search results will be displayed just when I open the application or just after I do the search. So I prefer to display the results just after the search, because you don't know how many records it's going to come. So in this way, you're going to have the search. So I search here, for example, again, and it's going to be here. So it's not going to navigate. So then I can define here the wide, because this is an iframe here. Okay, so this is just to show you this option, search with summary. You can have search with grid, you can have search with chart, and you also have all the chart options inside here. But then we are going to talk about charts tomorrow, because I'm going to show you only chart options, also menu and dashboard. Okay guys, I guess this is all for today, and we can continue tomorrow with charts and dashboard and menu, and we are going to keep showing you the options here. Stay tuned. I would like to thank you very much for attending today, and I wish you a very nice week. See you. Bye bye.